Jason Carney from Phoenix Film Festival. Jason, thank you so much for sitting down to discuss the festival and everything going on with me.
Always, always happy. Film festival, let's go.
It's the season.
That's right.
So I wanted to start off because I went back to our interview from last year, and you had said there was something over 200 features and shorts from the festival. And I don't mean to start off with the big tally number, but like, what's the number that we're going for with the festival this year?
I think we're like between shorts and features, like 270 or so, counting them all. I think I think it's about 170, yeah, right about 170 shorts and close to 100 features.
That's
Um,
nuts.
and I could just be making those numbers up though, so let's be honest.
Was there, because last year was the big 25th anniversary, was there a sense of coming to this year with a little less pressure because of the lack of the celebration of it, or did it feel just as important and prescient as any other year?
For me, it feels important every year. We always want to do new and different things. And so, last year was just like, it was the 25th time we'd done it and we want to always get better. And, that changed up a few things here and there. But, this year we've added some new categories and, I think, our lineup is really great from top to bottom. And, a lot of the things that we celebrated last year were things that kind of came together um, almost by accident. We stumbled into a lot of cool things that happened last year, and this year's kind of um, this year is a little bit more, focused in terms of like what we've put together. And, we always, there's kind of that challenge of like, sure, last year was the 25th anniversary, but okay, how do we top that? Let's
Yeah.
go. We never want to be that festival. It's just like, oh, well, we're just going through the motions, or we have this audience that we want to please, and that's it. We don't want to have like a festival audience. We want to have just the whole audience of the world. Anybody who loves the movies, we want them to be at our festival.
And especially when it comes to independent film, where it is so varied and eclectic, you kind of can't go the same way you've done last year. Like it's almost impossible.
Yeah, exactly. There's all these new fresh films, new stories, and sometimes there's guest opportunities and sometimes there's just not. But, at the end of the day, we want to play the best movies. We could always cater to try to bring guests and play mediocre films, and that's just not our style. We went that route probably 15 years ago because we kind of had to, but we found that people just want to see the best movies and they don't want to be pandered to by having, a guest and just not a great film.
Yeah. Actually, in regards to that first question I was asking about the number of features, are there any filmmakers who were showcasing last year who are returning this year?
I don't think there are because
Okay.
it's hard to make a movie,
Yeah.
especially at the independent level. Sometimes there's probably a couple of shorts here and there. I know Cindy Lee is a local filmmaker, and I think this might actually be her third year in a row with a short film in the festival. She's really great, and it's hard to find a nicer person, and so it's great to see her success. But on the feature level, it's tough to see a filmmaker maybe every 3 years at the most, because at the independent level, it costs a bit of money to and they've got to find it to put the movie together, and so that's always a challenge for them, unfortunately. But we do have a few films from filmmakers that we've had in the past. It's just been a few years since we've seen them.
And then you mentioned Cindy, of course. I think I counted right that there's three short showcases and two listed Arizona features. Is that just about the tally? And the follow up to that is, how was it sorting through local filmmakers in contrast to a lot of the international and big festival hits that you guys get?
Oh, sure. We have, our viewing committee is going to go through the films regardless, but, and then our programmer is going through, and Dan Gluck, who programs our Arizona films, he was looking through and he found like the quality of the shorts being stronger than what he had available for features. Because usually we do two Arizona shorts groups and three features. But he felt it would be stronger overall to have three Arizona shorts groups and two features. And, sometimes that's how it works. And we hate to limit ourselves to being like this is how we do it every year,
Yeah.
and giving our programmers the flexibility and the autonomy to make those shifts because based on the quality is something I really like that we do.
So actually, to that point, walk me through when mid-April of last year ends, and of course, it's the it's the thing from the Santa Claus of like, all right, Christmas is over, time to prepare for next year's Christmas. When you guys are
Kind of.
when you guys are sitting down to start those discussions, is there anything that you're immediately leaning towards to, or is it a thing that you can't really determine until you get to fall into winter when things really start peppering around the festival circuit?
Right after the festival, we're doing reporting and doing financials and trying to catch our breath and reset our brains. Like even our board of directors, we won't have a board meeting in April, and we'll reset and we'll do something a little light in May. But really, like our plan, we open for film submissions in June. And so if we want to create like new categories, we've got to kind of decide by then because that's when we're opening for those. But generally, like we have a big planning session in August. August is kind of like we'll have a board retreat, we'll talk to the staff and just kind of figure out like, okay, this is what we want to focus on. These are new ideas and start running with them then. And also, going after sponsors around that time kicks off. And so we kind of, get through the summer, give ourselves a little breathing time, do what we got to do, but really kick it off and kick it up a notch in August.
Do you remember what the first film you guys acquired was?
For this year, it's a movie called, it's one of our LGBTQ features. It's called, oh my goodness, it's called Drunken Noodles. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I remember zero about it. But but here's the thing. If you're programming if you're leading a festival, have like really strong programming people picking the films. We have
Yep.
I have probably 20 different program directors that, operate autonomously where they're like, okay, I'm like, here, you're in charge of this group of films. Watch these films. Let me know what you think. Tell me what your selections are. I handle most of the studio stuff, so the centerpiece films are all me. I usually have a couple people that I consult with and like get a second set of eyes on those kind of films and our showcase programming. I'm involved with that, but every single competition group is programmed by different program directors, and they're all like various personalities. They have really different tastes in films, and so that's what's great and gives us, eclectic batch of films that we show, and our showcase films, which are kind of those tweener movies that are not big studio films, but they're not like competition films. Steph Elizondo has taken the reins and doing a lot of those films this year with a little input and guidance from me, but she's been doing a great job working with those films.
Yeah, that is from Drunken Mules. That's from Lucio Castro and is about a art student basically flat sitting over a couple summers in New York. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
Tanner Steckney is our one of our programmers. He does a little bit of our LGBTQ showcase stuff, and he also does our what else? He does our experimental shorts. I want to say animated shorts. And he actually lives in France now. He started
oh,
with
okay.
us as an intern at ASU, and he moved to France a few years back, and he's programming remote. And every few years, he'll happen to be visiting his family and stuff in the U.S. and he'll pop over for the festival. So he's got a great taste and he's got a great job in France
I would be
working in the
very
film
curious.
industry.
I would be very curious to talk to him at some point of like, how do you program a Arizona Film Festival when you live in? I would love to hear that dichotomy at some point.
But he's not the only one. I have another. The woman that programs our Asian American Pacific Islander. We met her and she was living in Tucson and now she lives back east. I think in Maryland, I want to say.
Okay,
So,
but still in the continental U.S.
yeah, that is correct. But that's what's great about the digital world and being able to watch screeners from anywhere you are. It gives you an opportunity to stay engaged even when you move far, far away.
And actually,
But he's also, because he's working in the film festival and the film industry, he gets he knows about films like Drunken Noodles.
right. And actually, just remind me how big that Phoenix Film staff is this year.
We have well, we still have, we have two full-time employees, and the
Still
rest are
two. Okay.
volunteers. But our leadership and programming team is right around 72, I think.
Okay. Has that gone up from last year? Or?
It yeah, I think we've added more than we lost by, 2 to 5 or so, somewhere in there.
Okay, very
We
cool.
find great people and we find a fit for them is kind of the idea. If somebody wants to get more involved and get more engaged, we try to figure out where their skill set is, and we get them involved because if somebody has a passion for what we're doing and they fit in with the team and they want to give us their time, well, let's do it. Let's put them in charge of something.
You mentioned in that sort of pre-production process of like if you have to decide a theme going in. I'm first of all, I wanted to ask because I don't know if this was intentional or not. There are several cat movies this year's festival. Was that an intention?
That happened, I want to say that came about in like August, and they're all like
Okay, so it
showcased
was.
hand-picked films, like because we screened this movie 25 Cats from Qatar or Qatar, however you pronounce it. And we showed that last summer as part of our summer showcase, and the filmmaker, we had a great response, and I'm like, oh man, it would be cool to show this again. And we found out she had another documentary called Cat Daddies. And so we have these two different cat talks, and so I was like, oh shit, we should do Catter Day. Sorry. We should do this thing, Catter Day. And it was ridiculous, and but like we're running with it, because they have that cat video fest that comes out every year. Oscilloscope Labs releases it. Usually, like I think last year Harkins played it, and I think a museum played it. And so we're gonna play that version, and then there's a New York Cat Film Festival. And so we talked to them and we booked their short program. And so we had 4 films making up that first Saturday, also known as Catter Day. And we'll have like 100 different gift bags for people that come out and watch the films. And we just want to make it a fun day. Mai will be here to do a Q&A after her 2 features, and we've got the short. So it's great for, everybody loves pets and animals, and there's a special place in their heart for cat fans. They're really extra committed, and so we got a lot of excitement going for Catterday. I know the name is ridiculous, but we are not above puns.
No, look, if you can make that work, I know many, many people who would be very excited for just the sheer concept of a cat film festival.
Yeah, it's great. So we're excited. We've pulled some of the best from around the country, and hopefully we can make it work again because it's fun. People love pets, and and these are usually, generally we like to go on the side of lighthearted pet films.
Was there any other theme or collection of films you guys were leaning towards in terms of the programming? I didn't see anything totally that jumped out aside from the cat stuff, but I know that last year we talked about like the war in Ukraine was a big idea. The idea of trans rights was a big idea. Was there anything else that sort of coagulated, for lack of a better word, a lot of films into one section versus another?
Um, Not really. We created this deaf directed shorts for filmmakers that are deaf that have made short films, and we're the only like mainstream festival in the country that does it. We found
Oh,
out.
really?
I just like that wasn't the intention. It was just like last summer, we're like, hey, you know what? There's a lot of, we did a short film competition, and we had some deaf filmmakers competed, and we had a good crowd come out from the deaf community, and we always do. We had Deaf President Now last year, and it was a great turnout, and we were like, dang, we should give them an opportunity. Let's make it something special for the deaf community to rally around. And there's deaf filmmakers working out there, and let's give them a showcase, and let's put them on a stage and get the deaf community locally to get something to support. And so we're going to do that, and hopefully we'll get some filmmakers out for those screenings, and we'll have ASL interpreter doing the Q&As to make it accessible for guests, and really make it a big deal. And so that's a new thing. And I was just like about 2 weeks ago, a deaf filmmaker was like, I think you guys are the only ones doing this. There's several deaf film festivals out there, but we're the only, mainstream festival that's doing this. And I was like, oh shoot, we better not screw this up. It's a lot of pressure now. It was a lot easier not knowing that, but we gotta. we want to be an accessible festival and be inclusive, to all communities. And so it seems like it was an opportunity to add a new category, similar to when we did our community spotlight. And after the when COVID hit and all the how the Asian American community was treated so poorly around the country, and we were like, well, let's speed this up and get Asian American Pacific Islander films going. It was that kind of thing where we saw a need and we said, let's do it. Why not? Let's we have a movie theater booked. We got an
Yeah.
opportunity to show these movies. Let's include more people and make it not an exclusive event, and it's an inclusive event. And that's just worked great. And music videos is another thing. We've had people
Yeah.
asking about submitting music videos for such a long time, and they've been able to submit them, but like it's not quite the same. And so having a category of those and getting a lot of local music videos involved there is really cool. And then oddly enough, like bank robbing movies. It's
Interesting.
it's dumb. Like it was
Well,
no
yeah,
like intention.
because Tuner's on there, the one with Dustin
Tuner,
Hoffman and Lou Whitall,
Caroline.
which yes, I guess is also a bank robbery movie.
Um, is another one like a Bonnie and Clyde type movie. Um, the Christopher's kind of involves like a crime, some forgery thing. So maybe not
Yeah.
specifically bank robbery, but some criminal activity. And then I want to say A Safe Distance. One of our showcase films is about
Hmm.
some folks that have left a bank robbery and are hiding out in a forest and stumble upon a hiker, and things go from there. So, there's another one that I'm not even thinking about that's
But that
out
was just
there.
kind of one of those happy accidents things where it's just like, oh, we're really going like the crime bank robbery routes.
This was not an intention, but look at all these films we booked that not even like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this. Just happens. And that's kind of cool. That's where it's like not having a theme sometimes leads to themes where you're just
Yeah.
like, hey, let's book cool movies. Oh, wait, this seems to be happening over and over. But and they're all great and they're all very, very, very different.
Yeah. I do want to pivot super quickly to sort of the big picture stuff. You've got Power Ballad opening the festival on Thursday the 9th, and then I Swear, which closes out the festival on the 19th, I think is the last day.
Correct.
Yes.
Yep.
I Swear notable because that is the film that basically beat Timothy Chalamet at the BAFTAs for lead actor for Robert Aramayo, about a guy with Tourette's syndrome. And then Power Ballad, I'm very excited because that's John Carney's new movie, and I love John Carney. So I'm curious, is the Sing Street Army on your staff as powerful as my soul is in getting Power Ballad in that loop? And then as far as I Swear, they seem like two very, because I remember with last year, Ballad of Wallace Island, and then I mean what closing night was last year.
The Wedding Banquet.
Wedding Banquet, yes.
Yep.
In terms of kind of big crowd pleasers that bookend the festivals, I'm curious, was that sort of the mentality going into this again? Were you paying attention to sort of the BAFTA swing of I Swear and all? Like, talk about how those films came to be.
Um, Power Ballad was my number one draft pick. I saw Power
Yes,
Ballad was out there. Once is one of my favorite movies ever. It's like
so
in the
good.
top five. And Sing Street. We played Sing Street at the festival back in the day.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, and we had, timing wise, it didn't work out for us for like Begin Again or Flora and Son, but we did like Phoenix Film Society screening. So I'm with you on the John Carney camp. I just love movies about music, and oh man, this movie is every bit of charming, enjoyable, delightful, funny as any of his other movies. I love it. It's so good. I'm excited that it lived up to the hype that I had in my head when I watched it. I
Yeah.
don't know. I dig charming movies. And so it's a great way to open a festival, having something nice and fun. And then, I Swear is great because it's a great mix of drama, heartwarming, feel good, and comedy, which, kind of fits, what we like to do when we can. There's some movies, some years you stumble into like an Oscar caliber movie like Sing Sing.
Yeah.
And, playing that was great. And so like if you have that opportunity, you go that direction. But like it's always good to, to come in light and fun and get people feeling good and walking away feeling good. It's just a good thing to do. And like, or if you have like when we had Boyhood, that was a big deal for us, or Coda. Both of those movies are not like deep dramas or anything like that, but they're like upper crust movies, and so we want to book those when we can. But ultimately, like, these are perfect openers and closers for us. I wouldn't go any other way.
I think I asked you last year, was there a movie from the kind of late fall into Sundance push that you really wanted to get that you just couldn't work out?
Um, you know, there there isn't yet. There wasn't something
Okay.
that I felt like we were missing out on, that I was like, oh, that's releasing way too late, or that I can't remember. But I'm sure there are a couple now that they've started to roll out like the fall dates, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's coming out of the fall. We would have never had a chance at that. Or it would have been kind of cool to get that last Robin Hood movie, or the Robin, I forget what
Oh,
it's
Death of
called.
Robin Hood.
Death of Robin Hood, that would have been really cool,
Yeah.
but it's just a little too early based on like where A24 is at it with the movie. And so, we definitely, I definitely reached out because I think I'm really intrigued by that movie. But just timing wise, it's too early in their process to do it. And that happens. And, we just move on. My goal is to like get every film we can. Um, Films that are out there playing other festivals, I see them, if I see them after the fact and feel like we missed out, that happens sometimes. But generally, like, I feel like we're getting all the films we can from distributors.
Yeah. So then getting into the sort of day-to-day stuff, if someone is looking to go to the festival for the first time, what would you tell them? Where would you point them in the direction? How would they get tickets?
Um, there's a few different ways to embrace the festival. The first time you're not sure, it's a Flex Pass is a great way to do it. It's like a 4 movie pack for the price of like 2.5 movies or so. And you can then, take a couple of risks there. Go to one of the big centerpiece movies because it has people, it's like comfort. Like, oh, I know that guy. I know he's going to be good. But then, choose a group of short films because, what's great is they're going to be, 6 or 7 in the group. And there's going to be, if you don't like one, there's another one coming in just a few minutes. So don't worry.
Yeah.
So that's a great way to experience the festival. One of our US feature films is great because there's going to be a filmmaker there. They're going to talk about the movie afterwards, and it's a great experience and a way to see films in a different way. Being able to hear about the movie from the person that made the movie like immediately after is really inspiring. And then just pick something else. Something sounds good. Just flip through the program. That movie sounds good. Follow your instincts, and you're good to go. Or see two of the big centerpiece movies, or look for movies with actors you know.
Is there one sort of outside of the main swath of movies that you saw the description of or saw some of the footage of and went, okay, I need to get this on people's radar tonight?
There's a Safe Distance is kind of that movie. It did. It premiered at South by Southwest. It's an independent film, not a lot of no big fancy names in it or anything like that. And that was the movie, I asked to check out. I reached out to filmmakers, and I had our team watch it, and everybody was universally was like, "Oh, this is really, really good." And so we put it in a centerpiece spot. And generally you see in our centerpiece spots, they're studio films, or films with like Willem Dafoe or Al Pacino. But The Safe Distance is more traditional indie, but it's great. It's great performances, great shot, great story. It's tight. It runs really well. That's one that really sticks out as us like, hey, we're going to give a chance to a movie because we believe in it.
Yeah.
And another movie like that is Baby Love, which is about it's about a female like MMA fighter, but it's not
Oh,
really about
yes, yes.
MMA at all. It's really about a story of like recovery and mental health, and like how hard it is to get back up,
Yeah.
after you're down, and like not just fighting, but like in life. And you get dealt so many blows to your life, whether they're self-induced or whether they're just like mental health issues and stuff. It's hard to get back to it. And so this movie shows this woman going through that, and she is just great. And the director Joseph Marconi does a really nice job with this movie. I was so pleasantly surprised by it that it became like the story of this woman's struggle and less about like, you go in and you're like, oh, it's an MMA boxer,
Yeah.
and if that's not your jam, which it's not mine, but I watched it and I was like, oh, this is really good stuff, and she's great.
The sports movies that are good sports movies, but that are great outside of whatever the activity is.
Right, because they involve more the human element and less about like the sport,
Yeah.
which is okay, which I'm a big sports fan, but like, sometimes you want to watch the films that are not about the sport.
Yeah. And you want to
Like
see like what it,
Moneyball is very little about baseball. You know
yeah.
what I mean? I mean,
And
it's
it's
all
great
about
for it.
numbers and
Yeah.
like and the relationships and stuff like that you learn about. But but then there's a movie like Hoosiers where there's all basketball all the time, but also like Gene Hackman's struggle as a human to
I
get
mean,
back up.
yeah, it doesn't hurt to have Gene Hackman doing that.
It
Rest in peace,
never hurts to
obviously.
have Gene Hackman. Like losing Gene Hackman and Robert Duvall in like a little over a year, man, you have two actors that were always great and
Yeah.
always made other people better. Like Duvall, like anytime he was paired up with somebody, it was just like, man, that person just was tearing it up more than you've ever seen him. It's like seeing like going way, way back the movie Colors with Sean Penn and Robert
Which I haven't
Duvall.
seen.
Oh yeah, it's old, but like, and it's dated, but like you just watch like Sean Penn becoming more of a mature actor, even though he's playing like a rookie. You like see him doing some really good acting stuff there. And then like more recently, The Judge with Robert Downey
Yes.
Jr. and Robert Duvall, like the two of them together, man, it's magic.
I
And
mean,
so
heck, even did you see Widows?
yes,
Yeah, like he pops up for like 5 minutes in Widows at like 90. So it is great.
right. And I didn't realize this, or maybe I'd heard it and forgot about it that he was in like To Kill a Mockingbird. He was
Yeah.
Boo Radley in the original movie, and I was like, "Oh crap!" And I was on the other night, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch this."
I feel like this is a slight side change. I think I personally forgot about that because again, he's Robert Duvall and he's had 70 years of experience. And
Right.
I didn't know until he passed away when people bring it up. It was like, yes, I knew that, but like if you asked me 10 days prior, I would not just say, ah, yes, Robert Duvall from To Kill a Mockingbird.
Right. And last summer, I watched Tender Mercies for the first time.
It's
Oh,
on my
such
list.
a tight delight. He's great. It's just a good time at the movies with great performances. Man, he's so good in that.
Yeah.
It's shocking at how basic that movie is and how great it is. And it's like
And
boom, 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 like 90 minutes.
yeah, I've had no excuse not to watch it. It's just been on my list for the last week or something like that. And I need to. I have no excuse.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. It took me forever to watch it. I didn't know anything about it. I just heard the name over the years and over the years and
Yeah.
Tender Mercies. I was like, oh, what is this? I'm thinking of like On Golden Pond and those movies.
Yeah.
Those are hitting me in the head as well. And I'm like, well, I don't really need to see that. And then I was like, all right, let's go. We're gonna watch this. And man, I was
Yeah.
delighted.
The ones where you're like, oh yeah, it got, a ton of acclaim in its time, but like no one knows it. And then you watch it and you're like, I know why this got
Yeah,
acclaim.
like old Gene Hackman's movies, like The Conversation, which is brilliant. But it's not really like huge, but it's
Yeah.
great.
Pivoting back to the festival for just a
Sorry.
second. No, yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed that. How do you happen to know how many films this year have distribution in the U.S. already? Because that was kind of a big question I got last year that I just wasn't considering, which was, oh yeah, I got to see all of these, and everyone at the festival did. And obviously, Power Ballad is getting a wide release. I Swear is getting, I believe, a wider release towards like
Yeah,
May.
Sony Picture Classics is releasing that. And then we have movies like Normal, Late
Oh yes,
Fame,
yes.
Caroline, they're all through Magnolia. And so that's really great for them. The Pacino movie has a small distributor. I feel like they're trying, Billy Knight is the name of that one. I feel like they're trying to do something with it. We have the movie Obsession, the horror movie. Um,
Yes.
that's through Focus Features and The Famous, which Lionsgate is releasing. It's a crazy like a martial arts English speaking martial arts film.
Mm,
It's insane. The fight scenes are brilliant, crazy, over the top. Man, it'll be great for I think it's Thursday night at the festival. It's part of the horror and sci-fi side of things. It's kind of one of those tweener movies. It's so much fun. But those are all like a lot of our bigger films do have that distribution element with working with like great. Oh, and Tuner's coming up from
Yep.
Black Bear Pictures. And so, having these relationships with all these studios, Sony Classics, Magnolia. Now Black Bear's fairly new with us and Lionsgate. They've just paved the way for us booking all of these films and going, hey, this is great. Here's what they have coming out. And reaching out to them and saying, hey, what do you got for us? Or can we play this? And not more often than not, it's a yes. Probably 10 years ago, it was not that easy.
Yep. And then as far as some of the panels you got, I have not dug too deep into them. I know there's like another screenwriting panel. I know there's a couple of really interesting ones. Can you go into some of the ones that people might be able to see?
There's a great one on directing. It's about pacing
Mm.
your film, and one about acting and kind of becoming a lead actor and how that affects your prep preparation. There we go. How it
Either one.
affects your preparation leading into it. And we have one on making a pitch of your film, which we titled 99 Problems, but a pitch ain't one.
That's the one
And
I was trying to.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I'm very proud of that ridiculous title. I do my champion arms for that one. But Aaron Cash, who puts these panels together, he comes up with the kind of the topics and then runs with it. And once in a while, he'll listen to my ridiculous naming suggestions, like in this case. But he and Rebecca Varghese, they do a great job of kind of choosing a variety of topics. And like, you're always gonna generally you're gonna have an acting one, a screenplay one, a writing one, but trying to figure out like the different approaches on them and having different specific direction rather than just going, here's screenplays, and
Yep.
but going a certain specific direction. And I think that's a really nice approach, and kind of tightens things up when you're doing the panel discussion.
Yeah. And then, of course, you guys are doing Kids Day again. Can you go into some of the family programming that people might want to know about?
Oh, Kids Day is always great. It's kids 3 to 12, and there's different activity stations. They can learn about animation, like hands-on stuff, and they'll do a green screen activity where they, get to act in front of a green screen and take home that footage. And then there's like storyboarding and coloring even for the little kids. And we're gonna have like a couple other new stations that we're working through. We work with the Girl Scouts, and there's a special Girl Scouts activity so they can get a badge as part of Kids Day. And then we have, over the course of the festival, we have four different family-friendly shorts programs. We have like a group called Little Kid Flicks, a group called Big Kid Flicks, so you're kind of bridging the age gap. Girls POV, which happens on Kids Day, and so it's an opportunity for the girls to get more engaged. And a movie called or a program called Ola Cine, which is Spanish language films for kids.
Is there anything that I might not have brought? Because I know we went a bit over time with this, but is there anything I might not have brought up that people that you would love to pitch to people at the festival and why you think it's so special to the Phoenix area?
We do have special events like parties. We have like our opening night when we show Power Ballad. We've got, a cocktail party and 14 different restaurants participating in that. And it's a, fundraiser for our education program that help us support like our summer camps and making Kids Day free. And so that's a big, big event. And then Friday and Saturday night are we have like the industry night party, which is a local film community like coming together. It's almost an expo networking night. And then Saturday night, it'll be like a film prom, which is a lot of some film activities, but really open to anybody. And it's going to be 80s themed. And we won't have the red carpet, we'll have the rad carpet.
Mm,
Yeah.
as it must be.
Saturday is ridiculous day because we have Catter Day and we have walking the rad carpet.
Yeah. In a festival full of, not full of, but has a lot of, very serious, gritty, deep dramas, have a day where you can just be silly.
Yeah, and that's what we try to do. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We're not this like dark international, all these Hungarian films or whatever. We want to have films that are fun. We have that Bob Odenkirk movie Normal, which is
Yes.
like nobody meets Fargo, that Bob Odenkirk stars in and he wrote. And so and Carolina Caroline, which is like a Bonnie and Clyde thing. And then we have like a movie called Do Us Part, which is a romantic comedy.
Mm.
And so, like, trying to have all of those things within the festival and making it just for everybody. Not everybody wants to watch international film, but people do. And not everybody wants to watch documentaries. We got that covered too. So we try to give everybody a little something.
I did actually remember what I wanted to ask. The art for the programming guides and the posters and everything. Same artist as the years before. How did you guys determine, Clueless, Train Spotting, all the designs you decided to parody for this?
Yeah, we have a team of 5 different artists, and way back in like September, we get together and we have like a brainstorming, or it's more like a brain tornado meeting where just everybody's like coming up with ideas, all of our designers and a couple of our senior staff, and I'm just kind of in the middle, just soaking it in and taking notes, and from there I'm kind of narrowing it down, and then I kind of decide where we're looking at from like different eras, different types of movies, and then we kind of look at the color palette a little bit. Like we want films like colors to flow well. And then from there, we ideally pair up the designer with what they want to do because they're all volunteers and this should be fun for them. And,
Sure.
taking their opinions and kind of keeping track of what they suggested as we go through makes it easy for me to go, okay, Marty wants to do swingers and he suggested swingers. So we're doing that. Or Nicole, who did Train Spotting, spot on, like Lisa Marie doing Clueless. I was right in her window, and Heather and like and Amy jumping in as well. And just we have like they're just great artists, and we just like here's your movie, here's what the poster looks like, go. And they come back with amazing work, and rarely do we have to go, hey, you need to make some changes. It's usually like silly stuff like, hey, can you make the film festival name bigger?
Yeah.
Or don't
It's
forget
rarely
the website.
it's rarely a thing where it's like camera head, if that's what the mascot is called. Camera head does
Yeah,
not
that's
quite
correct.
work for this.
Yeah, it's very rare. We've only had like 2 or 3 times where we had to like kind of start over or scrap, something. A few years ago, we had like Back to the Future, and it just wasn't quite coming together. Oh no, it was Ghostbusters, which we still
Ah,
haven't
okay.
done. It's a hard one to do. And so trying to figure out, to get a little creative, someone went a little too nutso, but they came back with another design and they hit it out of the park with their next design. So having that flexibility to pivot and just them ready to roll and be creative because they're giving us their time, so we want this to be a creative outlet for them. We want them to enjoy it. We don't want them to feel like they're working for a client that's going to send the work back 5, 6, 7 times. We want them to have that freedom. And because we have the right people in place, it works out perfect because they're talented people and I trust them.
Of course. Last but not least, I just wanted to quickly ask you, do you have a favorite movie from last year? I know we had a fairly packed year. The Oscars just kind of went in a whirlwind. Is there anything that you would love to pitch to people that maybe they might have missed last year?
From the festival or for real life?
Either one.
All right, I'm going to say for the festival because this movie didn't get a lot of love. It was nominated for Best Picture. The Secret Agent. I just love The
Yes.
Secret Agent.
It's so
Man,
good.
their art direction is brilliant.
Oh
That
my God.
cast, every single member of those people that were in that like apartment area, all of
How
those
do
characters are so unique and great.
how do you cast like 22 main roles and all of them are distinct, fleshed out? They're all, it's a perfect cast. I don't understand it.
And where did they get all these Volkswagens from? Pristine. I mean, I know it
Yes.
fits the era perfectly for South America and everything like that because you hear all these stories about Volkswagen bugs being like easy to operate, and so they were so prevalent then. Um, but also like we went in not knowing anything about the film. We
Yep.
were going to see something else, but it didn't match up, and I was like, "Well, let's go see this." I've heard some good things, and then we were like halfway through, and we're like, "Where's this going?" And my wife's like, "I don't know, but I love it." I'm like, "Yep."
And it's a perfect thing where it's funny because I've talked to some other people about it where it's like, I didn't love, how it was paced. I didn't necessarily, love how it took me a while to find out. And I was like, here's the thing. If the second half doesn't land, I get that. But I think the second half lands just so perfectly and just that perfect level of anticipation and thriller and comedy and everything that has to do that I think all that pacing in the first can be forgiven.
Yeah, it's like a nice walk.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it. I'm enjoying it. And I'm there and it looks great. And like the colors, how they shot it, all the art direction is perfect. And just the cast, when people were like, I don't like it, like, all right, well, I get it, but it was for me. I like a nice, easy pace movie as long as it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
Well, this,
if you're just lengthening out a movie because you want to fit in as many things as you can and make it jumbled, well then that's fine, but it's not the same thing. So
of course.
yeah.
Well, listen, Phoenix Film Festival is April 9th to the 19th. They can get tickets at phoenixfilmfestival.com.
Correct. You can see the whole schedule. There's actually currently there's a digital version of the program up on the site. So if you wanted to see that big catalog style, you can get a PDF of it, but there's also an interactive schedule and we'll have program books at our office soon. So you'll be able to get them at the festival ticket center. But there's so much online you can find. You're good to go.
Go explore the site. There's a lot to discover on there. Jason, thank you so much for staying far, far longer than I promised you. I really,
Nah, it's
really
all good,
appreciate
buddy.
this.
Always good talking to you.